If you're over 60 and still buried under a lifetime of accumulated possessions, you're not only imprisoning yourself in the past, but also robbing yourself of the chance to truly live in your remaining years. Have you ever stood in the middle of a house full of things and felt like you were suffocating from the very items you once loved? As if each item whispered, "Don't throw me away," yet they were silently stealing the peaceful space in your home? Many people believe that decluttering in old age is a painful battle with memories, that it takes months to decide on each item, and that letting go means betraying the past. But today I will prove the opposite. I will share the story of Margaret, 74 years old, who cleared out her 3-bedroom house in just 48 hours and discovered that letting go is not loss, but liberation. The 7 secrets she used will completely change the way you look at decluttering. Stay tuned. Watch until the end of the video. You will discover that everything is simpler than you think. And now, please comment 1 to let me know you are here to start the main content. When Margaret stood in the middle of her living room, filled with 45 years of accumulated possessions, she realized she had become a prisoner in her own home. Every corner whispered old stories, but they no longer brought joy. They were just a burden weighing on her shoulders every day. Have you ever felt like that? When you open your closet, you feel overwhelmed. When you look at your living room, you feel tired instead of relaxed. The things you once thought would bring happiness now make you feel suffocated. This is a sign of a silent illness that most of us suffer from in old age. We live more in the past than in the present. We keep everything because we fear that letting go means forgetting what is past. But the truth is, when we keep too much, we are not honoring memories. We are blurring them. Margaret discovered the first secret when she learned to look at her house through the eyes of a complete stranger. She asked herself, if someone who knows nothing about me walked through this house, what would they think? This simple question changed everything. When she looked at the 47 decorative candles she had never lit for fear of burning the house down, she knew the answer immediately. A stranger would find this completely absurd. When she looked at the 23 photo albums with faded, repetitive pictures, she understood they meant nothing to anyone, not even herself. This was when Margaret realized a painful truth. She confused loving memories with hoarding objects. Memories live in the heart, not in the closet. Love is shown through how we live today, not through preserving things from yesterday. She started with the wedding dress, carefully wrapped in the closet. Would a stranger understand why a 74-year-old woman kept this dress? No. And in truth, even she no longer saw the meaning. The dress didn't bring joy or beautiful memories. It just took up space and reminded her of a period that had ended. But Margaret's second secret saved her from the exhaustion that most people experience when decluttering. She discovered that an older person's brain only has about 10 minutes of good decision-making energy before mental fatigue sets in. After that threshold, we start keeping everything simply because making decisions becomes too tiring. Do you recognize this in your life? When you start decluttering a room with great enthusiasm, but after a while, you feel overwhelmed and end up not decluttering anything. It's not because you're lazy or lack willpower. It's because you've exceeded your decision-making energy limit. Margaret set a timer for exactly 10 minutes for each small area. Not the whole room, but just one shelf, one drawer, one small corner. When the alarm rang, she stopped immediately, even if she wasn't finished. This rule saved her from paralysis she had experienced for the past 2 years. The magic is that in 10 minutes, you can't overthink. You are forced to trust your intuition, and intuition usually knows exactly what you truly need. Time pressure becomes your friend instead of your enemy. When Margaret cleared the first drawer in her bedroom, 10 minutes helped her find expired pills from 1998, 17 pens that no longer wrote, Christmas cards from people whose names she had forgotten, and enough buttons to open a craft store. A full bag of trash and space she had forgotten existed. The final trick in this first group of 3 secrets might be ruthless, but it is extremely effective. Margaret learned to triage everything like a doctor in an emergency room. Just as a doctor doesn't spend equal time on every patient, she couldn't spend equal energy on every item. The 3 ruthless groups: can't live without, might need it someday, and haven't touched in over a year. But here's the ruthless part most people don't want to hear. The second group must be treated like the third. Margaret realized might need it was just fear talking. Fear will keep you forever in clutter. She allowed herself to be wrong about a few items rather than be perpetually stuck by indecision about everything. From 23 coffee mugs, even though she only drank tea, to 3 sets of Chinese dinnerware she hadn't used since her daughter's wedding in 1987, everything was sorted quickly and ruthlessly. 2 favorite mugs were kept, all the Chinese dinnerware was donated, and 90% of the kitchen utensils were gone, including the bread maker she had used exactly twice in 10 years. The emotional breakthrough occurred when Margaret realized that keeping everything just in case didn't make her feel as secure as she once thought. Instead, it made her feel trapped, anxious, and overwhelmed every time she opened a cupboard or drawer. Each room she decluttered gave her more confidence to be more ruthless with the next. If what you just heard resonates with your experience, please pause for a few seconds and comment with the number 2. If you haven't experienced these things, please don't hesitate to comment so I can listen and learn more from you. Margaret's 4th secret addressed a problem most seniors face, but no one talks about. We don't have limitless emotional energy to spend on every item in the house. She created an emotional investment scale from 1 to 10, and this system revolutionized her entire approach. Do you ever feel exhausted just thinking about having to decide on every single item? As if each decision weighs on your shoulders like a boulder? That's because you're treating an old sock the same way you treat your grandmother's wedding ring. Margaret learned that a level 1 item wasn't worth a second of thought. Straight into the donation bin without analysis or guilt. A level 10 item was carefully considered, properly stored, and given a place of honor in her new life. Everything in between was sorted based on the true emotional value it brought. Her book collection was a perfect example. Romance novels read once were rated level 1. Straight into the donation box without a thought. Her late husband's technical manuals were rated level 3. She spent 30 seconds deciding if her children might need them before boxing them up. Her grandmother's handwritten cookbook with family recipes was rated level 9. She carefully cleaned it, wrapped it in protective plastic, and placed it in a position of honor in her new kitchen. This strategy prevented the emotional exhaustion that derails most decluttering efforts. Instead of agonizing over every item equally and tiring herself out with unimportant decisions, Margaret learned to quickly identify what deserved her precious emotional energy. But it was the 5th secret that truly broke the biggest fear, keeping seniors stuck with their belongings for decades. What if I need this someday and can't replace it? Margaret developed what she called the reality replacement test, and it completely demolished most of her hoarding justifications. These 3 ruthless questions expose the truth behind our just-in-case mentality. For every item she hesitated to donate or discard, she forced herself to answer honestly. If I needed this tomorrow, could I find another one? What is the actual replacement cost? In the last 5 years, how many times have I used it for something important? The set of 12 screwdrivers scattered throughout various drawers in the house was a prime example. Could she find a screwdriver if she suddenly needed one? Yes, from any hardware store, neighbor, or even a dollar store. The replacement cost for a whole set? Less than $15. The number of times she actually needed more than one screwdriver in 5 years? Exactly 0. The emotional breakthrough occurred when she realized that keeping everything just in case was actually more expensive than occasionally replacing something. She was paying hidden costs, storage space, mental stress, cleaning time, and living in chaos, all to theoretically save herself from having to repurchase a $5 item once every few years. The numbers didn't add up. The sixth secret was what surprised Margaret's children the most, and even herself. She began making all decluttering decisions based on the person she was becoming, not the person she used to be or the person others expected her to still be. The future self-test asked a powerful question. Does keeping this item serve the person I am evolving into, or is it anchoring me to a past that is complete? This approach was revolutionary because most seniors declutter based on guilt about the past or an obligation to maintain an old identity, rather than excitement about who they are becoming in this new chapter of life. Margaret completely flipped the script. Instead of asking, "How can I bear to throw this away?" she started asking, "How does keeping this help me become the person I want to be in my remaining years?" Her extensive collection of business suits was the first test. She had been a powerful executive for 30 years, and those suits represented decades of achievement, respect, and professional identity. But her future self was a relaxed retiree, volunteering at an animal shelter, taking watercolor classes, and traveling to places she never had time to visit. The power suits didn't serve her future. They were anchoring her to a past identity that had been beautifully completed. When you make decisions based on your future self instead of your past self, letting go becomes exciting instead of painful. Margaret wasn't the only one who found it painful to let go. Her collection of business and management books revealed another profound shift in thinking. She had shelves full of business and management books that were once crucial to her professional success. But her future self wanted to learn about gardening, travel, photography, and maybe even creative writing. Keeping outdated business books wasn't honoring her past achievements. It was actually preventing her from exploring new interests and growth opportunities. The transformed craft room was the most striking example. Instead of keeping supplies for hobbies she had genuinely lost interest in years ago, she bravely cleared space for the art studio she had dreamed of since retiring. The dusty sewing machine and mountains of unused fabric went. A proper easel, quality watercolor supplies, and natural light from a previously obscured window were welcomed. But the most emotionally challenging moment came when she applied this test to her late husband's belongings. She realized that keeping everything exactly as he left it wasn't honoring his memory. It was preventing her from healing and moving forward with whatever was left of her own life. She kept the most meaningful items that truly brought comfort and happy memories, then donated the rest to help other families. Her husband would have wanted her to live, not maintain a shrine. Margaret's seventh and final secret was what sealed her complete transformation and prevented the regret that sabotages most decluttering efforts. She created meaningful completion rituals for each major group of items she let go of. This wasn't just superficial sentimentality. It was a necessary psychological need for seniors letting go of a lifetime of accumulated memories and meaningful possessions. Instead of sneakily taking things out in trash bags as if doing something shameful, Margaret made a conscious choice to honor the meaning these items had in her life before saying a proper goodbye. This ritualistic approach transformed guilt into gratitude and prevented the second guessing that makes people rescue items from donation bags at the last minute. For her vast collection of work attire, she created a career celebration ritual. She spent 10 minutes holding her favorite power suit and recalling her proudest professional moments. The promotion she earned, the tough negotiations she won, the team she led to success. Then she blessed the clothes to help another woman achieve her own career dreams and donated them to a nonprofit organization that helps women enter the workforce. The book Ritual became deeply meaningful. Instead of just dumping boxes of books at the library donation center, she wrote short notes of thanks to the authors who had influenced her thinking. She would tuck these notes into the books. "Thank you for teaching me about leadership," or "This book helped me through my divorce. I hope it helps someone else." Future readers discovered these notes, and some contacted her to share how meaningful they found her messages. The photo ritual was the most emotionally powerful transformation. Instead of just tossing duplicate photos into the trash like unwanted waste, she held what she called a memory celebration ceremony, where she thanked each group of images for capturing precious moments, then let them go, knowing the memories lived permanently in her heart, not in cardboard boxes taking up closet space. This ritualistic approach created true closure instead of lingering regret. Without these rituals, Margaret found herself second-guessing decisions and wanting to rescue items from donation bags. The rituals made each decision feel final, peaceful, and truly meaningful, rather than like a loss. Her adult children's artwork received the most elaborate ritual. She photographed every piece she wasn't keeping, creating a beautiful digital album titled My Children's Masterpieces, then ceremoniously thanked each drawing for bringing joy before letting go of the physical copies. The most surprising ritual was for items that were broken, worn out, or no longer functional. Instead of feeling guilty about damaged things that couldn't be repaired, Margaret created retirement ceremonies, where she thanked these loyal items for their years of service before letting them rest in peace. When the moving truck arrived exactly 48 hours later, Margaret was completely ready, but the real change wasn't her empty rooms. It was a newfound sense of freedom and possibility. 3 months later, Margaret called me from her new apartment. She told me something I will never forget. "I thought I would just declutter my house, but I was actually decluttering my life for the next chapter." The 7 ruthless secrets didn't just help her declutter. They helped her discover the person she was becoming. That's the real secret. Decluttering isn't about getting rid of stuff. It's about making space for the life you truly want to live. If Margaret's story touched you, please hit the like button now and share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Which secret will you start with? Let me know in the comments. And if you're serious about creating your own fresh start, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Old age can be the most beautiful chapter if you're brave enough to write it.